welcome to Staples.
Hi, Staples guy. I have to get my kids ready for back to school.
Staples has tons of deals, like one subject notebooks for just 25 cents. So they'll be 110% ready.
Wait a minute. That's 10% more ready than 100% ready.
That's right.
Yeah, I was a math major.
I could tell.
Make low prices happen. Make 110% ready happen. Staples. Make more happen. Right now, Lexar S50 16GB flash drives are just $6.99.
Offer valid while supplies last. Limit 5 per customer. Ends 8/8/15.
Blog Talk Radio.
So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview, recorded live on blogtalkradio.com from the new media and American League Baseball capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. Will success spoil Lisa Lampanelli? That's what Howard Stern posited earlier this week. He thinks that now that the stand-up comedian has hit the big time with her first HBO special, Long Live the Queen, debuting this Saturday, January 31st, on HBO, that it might be too much exposure for her extremely vulgar, often funny, awfully funny brand of humor. And maybe he's right. But maybe, just maybe, it will open a lot of new doors for Lampanelli, who has long been a regular on the roast circuit, ripping new you-know-whats for her fellow comedians and celebrities such as Pamela Anderson, Chevy Chase, and William Shatner. Now, a word of warning for the faint-hearted Mr. Media listener. There are no censors on this show. Nobody will be bleeping Lisa, who is known to throw around 4 and maybe 12-letter words, and she's free to let it rip here. So if you're easily offended, change channels now. Lisa, welcome to Mr. Media.
Boy, you're a fag, aren't you? What a faggy-ass introduction. With success. What are you trying to sound like the 60 Minutes, you douchebag? You got an online interview and a blog that nobody reads. God almighty. The guy takes himself a little seriously. Hey, Howard Stern.
It's good to meet you, too.
I'm like listening to that, and I'm going, what a bunch of crap. Did he even listen to Stern? Did you even hear what Stern said?
I think I actually did. It was Monday, and I heard it in the car. Unfortunately, I couldn't take notes because I was driving.
Well, he did not say, will success spoil Lisa Lampanelli, which sounds like it will make me into a whiny whore like the rest of the women out there. It means, will it be too controversial for normal viewers who aren't watching a comedy channel? And my feeling is, if it is, they can lick it, because I do not care. I appeal to crazy, very non-racist, very cool, edgy people who like edgy comedy, and if Mom and Pop Kettle don't want to watch it, then they can lick the old snatcheroony, if you know what I'm saying, because it's HBO, baby. The company's known for brands like The Sopranos, Deadwood. Please, if you don't like good comedy and you don't like edgy stuff, you shouldn't be watching HBO. Watch the freaking Animal Planet.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you didn't make me feel any need to think that I didn't need to tell people with delicate constitutions to change off to something else right now.
Look, if they have enough, if they're too delicate to listen to you, then we got a problem. Then they're real light in the old loaf skis.
Well, so listen, you've got your first HBO special. Pretty cool, huh?
Exciting. Saturday, 10 p.m. Watch it. Long live the Queen.
How long have you felt like, you were ready for this, and how long did it actually take to get this?
I never felt like I was ready for it till I got it. You never get anything for it till you're ready for it. So I wasn't, in the realm that I deserved one. So now that I'm seasoned professional, I was like, okay, so it's given to you. Do you understand? It's like The Secret.
Yeah.
The self-help book that Oprah, that fat whore, loves? Well, let me tell you something. I opened my hands, and I freed myself from bad people and things, and HBO flew right into my little waiting paws.
And now that they're in your paws, can you bring all those bad things and bad people back into your life?
I would hope so, because I haven't been laid in a while, so let's make it happen.
Now, is this all new material on the show?
Oh, hell yeah. You can't do anything recycled on any special, much less for HBO. Like, every single thing has to be new. I did 2 Comedy Central hour specials, and they were all very different from each other. One was called Take It Like a Man, because that's what people need to do if they're in my audience. And also the second one was called Dirty Girl. And this one, Long Live the Queen, is 100% new stuff, dude, but it is edgier, and it's just a lot edgier subject matter than was dealt with on the other ones, because Comedy Central, they're a little more conservative. It's not a paid channel, and this is the real deal, man. With HBO, you just let it fly.
So is the special on HBO maybe closer to what you do in a roast than what you did on Comedy Central?
Nope. They're all, put it this way, I do the same edge and attitude whether I'm on The Tonight Show, Howard, Comedy Central, or roast, whatever, or HBO, because I always still have my persona. The only things that change is that we'd have to fight for 8 hours with a network saying, seriously, it's okay to do a joke about deaf people. It's okay to do jokes about, like, how a retarded person looks. With HBO, it's just like you can do whatever you want. So all it really saved us was a lot of time and energy arguing with some douchebag low-budget network.
Now, didn't I hear you tell Howard, though, that there was something that you had to take out even for HBO?
Yeah, but legal. That's the only thing HBO cares about is legal. Meaning, if they can be sued or I can be sued, obviously you can't put it in a show. You can't go around saying in your special every person who goes to McDonald's gets food poisoning, or else you're going to have a lawsuit. So I had said that David Archuleta, that little douchebag from American Idol, I said he was a fag. So you can't, unfortunately, say somebody's gay before the age of 18. It's a law thing. So they said we had to find another guy to call a gay. Of course, I inserted Andy Dick because he's inserted himself into quite a few men, so I feel like he was a safe bet. So Andy Dick it was. So poor Andy Dick, no matter what I do, he can't escape. He can't escape from me ever.
Poor guy.
Poor thing. But other than that one edit, they said, let it fly, babe, no problem.
Well, thanks to you, you're keeping Andy Dick's name alive.
Well, no, Celebrity Rehab.
He's not doing anything with it.
Poor Andy.
So how long, I'm assuming this is an hour special. How long did it take to develop this all-new material to get it ready for this point?
2 years, because I taped Dirty Girl in October of 2006. This was taped in November of 2008. So by that time, so that's not very long, because it used to be, Seinfeld would say something like, it takes 6 months to develop a good 5 minutes. And also, he probably didn't have the anger and temper and have things bother him the way I do, which I'm always screaming about. So I've had a lot more material to deal with because I'm more hair trigger. So I think it took me a little faster. So 2 years.
Do you would you mind giving us a sample of something that's in the show on Saturday night?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. No, you know what you should do? Let's try to let's do it like real radio. Ask me like about a subject, and then I'll like go off as if I hadn't told you to ask me about the subject, and then it'll sound like all organic. So say like this: Lisa, you're known for liking black men. What do you feel about Obama? Okay, go ahead. Take one.
Lisa, you're known for liking black men. How do you feel about Obama?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. I love this Barack Obama because he is a black man who is just white enough to do a good job and show up on time. And no matter what he said, I don't care who you voted for, I used to love his speeches, He'd say, I want change. I want change. And I'm like, wow, that's just what America needs, another black guy asking us for change. And that's Sarah Palin. What about her? Did you like her, Mr. Media?
Not a bit.
Neither did I. I have 3 words for that whore. Close your legs. How many kids does this broad have to have? What is she, black? And then she has the nerve to have the retard kid. I mean, what the hell is that all about? The retard kid is God's way of saying to stop. The retard kid is the warning shot of the reproductive system. Shut your twat down, biatches. See, now we naturally went into the subject, yet led you into 5 to 6 legitimate punchlines. Now it sounded natural.
So what would be off limits for Lisa Lampanelli? Where will you not go?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, I wouldn't probably, like, if there's cripples in my audience a lot, because cripples really dig me, because anybody who kind of feels out of place likes my show. Like, there's a lot of minorities, a lot of gay guys, a lot of gay women. a lot of, kids who just don't really feel they fit in. So a lot of cripples come to the show, which I love. So if I sensed a cripple didn't want to be made fun of, like you can sense who's open to it. If I sensed they were a little closed off, I wouldn't go, hey, let's make fun of the cripple and make him miserable. But if a guy's in the front row and he's in a wheelchair and he's smiling it up and looks open, I'll try to do a little bit about him. I probably wouldn't make fun of a retarded person in their face, even though they're not going to really understand the joke. It could still hurt their caregiver's feelings. So I try not to really hurt people's feelings. I just try to insult with love.
How long have you been doing this now professionally?
Oh, it's going to be 18 years. Overnight sensation, mister.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting at. I mean, it really has not been. I mean, you've had a really, you didn't fall into a lucky break at 30 or 35.
Yeah, there's no lucky break, because if you get it too early, then you're not ready for it. So basically, I don't have to snap and move to Africa and give up my $50 million like poor Dave Chappelle had to. It's like I started when I was 30 because I already knew I had a personality. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be ready for it when it comes. So it does take a long time. Like Seinfeld, it took him 15 years to get that TV show. I mean, there's just a lot of work behind the scenes and sort of running around on the road forever that nobody knows exists except us who are doing it, who are driving the 21 hours to Florida just for the $125 in the experience. So yeah, there's a lot to it.
What was that moment that you knew you were funny, and then also what was that moment that you knew you had a different take than everyone else?
Well, I knew I was funny when I was 6, when I got my first laugh from my parents, but then I went and I milked the joke by repeating it twice, and then they just stared at me like I was a freaking idiot. So pretty soon I learned early not to milk the joke. But I knew for my first time on stage that I was going to do this for a living because I really killed. And trust me, I'm not the type to stick with something unless I know that eventually it'll pay off. I knew it was going to take years and years to earn more than like migrant worker pay, but I was like, wait, I know I'm good at this. After the first open mic, I was so confident I called in sick to my day job the next day. I was like, shove it, dudes, I'm going to be a star.
What was the day job at the time?
Oh, at the time I was an editor for like a book publisher. So, because I was a journalist for from college on. So I went to Syracuse for journalism, and then I ended up at 30. I snapped and said, "How can I say the C word for a living and get paid more than $12,000 a year? Hey, comedy, woo!"
And so okay, so. Did you know immediately, though, that you had this? Because, I mean, the thing about you, Lisa, is you have this voice that is different. It's different from even most of the male comedians. I mean, it's so blunt and it's so forward. It stands out.
Right.
When did that come out?
Probably about 2-3 years in. I mean, like I always knew I was funny and the jokes were funny, but I started experimenting more with screwing around with the audience at about a couple years in, and I was like, wow, that's definitely what I want to do. Like, that's definitely the tactic I want to take. I don't want to be one of these stand-ups who stands there with the microphone and is static and just does jokes. I want to interact. So I kind of knew pretty early that that's what I was meant to do. So I just listened to my tapes. So what you do is you tape record yourself, and I would listen, and the only times I really got a kick out of myself was when I was, effing around with the audience or with other comics or whatever. And I was like, well, that's the path I'm supposed to take, I guess. So I did it.
Did you have to, and I've noticed that you've switched since we started talking to using letters instead of words. But
no, it's just I didn't do it for a reason. It's not out of respect or anything. It's just because it's sometimes funnier to say effed around. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's something funnier about, some subtle things, and then you hit them hard with the big C's and things like that.
Well, that's what I'm wondering is when did you feel comfortable using those words?
Oh, my God, always.
Always.
I didn't care. You kidding me? Dude, that's why, like I said, when I was 30, I already knew I was likable enough to get away with stuff. So I always knew I had a good personality and people would like me or they wouldn't, and that's okay, and I didn't take it personally. So I always knew I was comfortable with language, and if they weren't, that's okay. Go see Rita Rudner. Have fun with that clean and clever, freaking boring whore. Come on, man. Well, women comics are awful. Other than me and Sarah Silverman and Kathy Griffin, you guys would rather shoot yourself in the face with a huge gun than go to see a woman comic. I don't blame you.
Well, and I was gonna ask you. I mean, do you feel that you have any contemporaries on the circuit?
Those two. I love Sarah. That's my girl because she really goes very edgy. And also she's very good looking, which I like about her because it's very hard. Like, I'm goofy looking. I'm like not everybody's cup of tea when it comes to looks. I mean, I'm cute enough to get laid on occasion, but like Sarah's an actual beautiful girl, which makes comedy a lot harder. So my feeling is that's one of my heroes going, hey, you know what? She can get laughs from women too, and not just the men who want to try to bang her as if they had a chance. And I also like this Kathy Griffin because she will name names. She talks about people. She does not back away from controversy. So, again, another one who I love.
You lost, I'm going from memory here, I think 35 pounds in the last, I don't know, year or two?
A couple of years, 2.5, I guess.
2.5 years. Did you feel that you had to do that?
No. To live. I mean, come on, please. It's real. You just want to feel healthier and happier about yourself. And it wasn't even one of those things where it's this strict thing and, oh, my God, I've got to lose this amount and stuff. It's just like you go, wait a minute. I'm obviously eating emotionally because nobody needs this much freaking food. I also am not moving my ass. I'm never exercising. That can't be good because all the experts say that's good for you. So I just kind of went, wait a minute, let me be an adult. Let me admit this is not going to be fun to exercise and it's not going to be fun to lose weight. But guess what? Suck it up, Buttercup. When you're 70, you don't want to be limping around with a half a leg. So I figured that I just kind of did it for health, thank God.
Has it had a positive effect on your career? I'm thinking that maybe it has. Maybe it's coincidental, but the HBO special, you've been certainly more visible on with the roast the last couple of years. Is it just,
no, I don't think it helped or hurt because I was still just funny. But the only reason it helped was as I get more confident in myself, I take more chances on stage. So it's like, okay, my self-hate has gone down a little bit. So therefore, I could be more hateful to the audience, and they will know I'm kidding. So the more healthy you get emotionally, the more chances you could take on stage. So that's the only way to me it's really helped. I don't think anyone cared less. I mean, Howard would always have me on no matter how I looked. What's his name? Tonight Show, this one, that one, the roast. They didn't care. It's like you're a powerhouse. They're not judging you on your looks. They're judging you on sort of how you can deliver.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about, someone like Artie Lang, who's become a very big guy the last couple of years in terms of his weight and his health. He's got health issues, but there'd be no one expecting him to lose weight because it would improve his career. His health is the issue, I think.
Yeah, that's the only issue there. I mean, I don't think comics are really lucky, dude. We get to look however we want. The thing is, Artie, even looking as he looks now, and me, no matter how I ever looked or will look in the future, because who knows when this will all backfire, it's like we're not hard to look at. Like, we're not gorgeous, and we're not. A comic can be pretty ugly, whatever they want, funny looking. You just can't be hard on the eyes. You can't be hard to look at, like where you're uncomfortable. Like, if there's a comic with a big port wine stain on his face, that's off-putting. Sadly, it's uncomfortable. If a guy's up there looking creepy like a molester, has a molester vibe, that's not funny unless it's a carefully crafted character or something. So
Stephen Wright.
What's that? Oh, he doesn't have a
Stephen Wright.
He doesn't have a molester vibe. He's like goofy looking, but yet pleasant enough to look at. Like, you're not going, ooh, I have to look away. We've all seen those comics who you go, ooh, gosh, wow, that guy's not going to succeed. So put it this way, for Artie, me, anybody like that, you just got to do it because you want to remain a little bit healthy and not die soon.
The HBO special, the format, has been a launching pad for American comics forever. Robert Klein, George Carlin, Robin Williams have become huge going this route. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield used to host the show that introduced us to even more comics. What would you like to see your special, Long Live the Queen, this Saturday at 10 p.m. on HBO, do for your career?
Well, the thing is, it's no longer a launching pad. Things have changed. HBO specials used to be where they introduced the world to these comics. Now it has to be a seasoned guy who has proven themselves already, meaning like the Chris Rocks and the this one and that one, and they only occasionally give our specials to people who aren't household names. So for me or Jim Norton or people like that, and the rare person who gets it, who's kind of well known to their audience and in the business, and the Tonight Show and Howard, but isn't known maybe to, say, 80-year-old women or, if, in the black community or whatever, if you're not known across the board, it's very rare to get one. So I don't think it's a launching pad in the least. It's an arrival.
Who makes you laugh, Lisa?
Rickles, Stern. I also like Edge. I like Norton. I like Attell. I like the occasional really, I don't like anything corny. You know what I mean? I don't like corny. I don't like clean and clever. I don't like sketch bullshit. I don't like Saturday Night Live. Aren't we just wry and clever and white people? It's boring. It's boring. And I'll always laugh at Jeff Foxworthy. I'll always laugh at Larry the Cable Guy. I'll always laugh at Ron White. I'll laugh at people who kind of have a character, a strong character. And if it's not everybody's cup of tea, that's okay. But it's just what makes me laugh and makes me not turn the channel.
Now, you are known for having a predilection for black men. What about black comedians? Cat Williams, Chappelle?
Well, no,
like
of course. I mean, come on. You've got to be mentally ill if you don't laugh at a Chappelle or a Cat Williams. But I don't sit around and seek out black comedy because, again, the few good ones and the rest are just those kind of BET comic view idiots talking about white people as this and white people is that, and it's just boring. Pretty much, I don't watch a lot of comics. I mean, why bother? It's like so freaking boring now.
Well, once you've got your own beat and your own routine, you don't really need to study anybody else.
Well, I don't know. I never watched comedy. I never saw stand-up until I was in it 7 years. I used to watch the Dean Martin roast with my parents, and I kind of thought that was comedy because those guys looked like they were having so much fun and really, I don't know, they all looked like friends and like they were vibing and stuff. But up until 7 years in, I never even watched the stand-up tape until somebody gave me Hello Dummy by Rickles. And then, I mean, obviously it wasn't on DVD, but it was a vinyl album. And I was like, wow, this is cool. So I sought out some Rickles stuff and Pudgy, who was a insult comic. She had a Showtime special. She was great, Toady Fields. But other than that, I didn't even grow up watching it at all.
Well, you've a lot of your notoriety the last couple of years has been from these incredible performances, both as a comic on the roast, but also taking a lot of crap at the roast. What most people only experience with the roast is the Dean Martin roast, which I remember too from being a kid, and then when Comedy Central was broadcasting edited versions. What are we missing? What are we not seeing on the televised versions of these things? You're
not seeing all the awful, unfunny jokes that are just hurtful, because the audience senses if some of the subject's uncomfortable. Like at the Pam Anderson roast, there was a real diatribe by one comic, and it was just so unfunny, and it was the same joke about the same subject over and over that I was like, if they don't cut this out, they're retarded. This guy's career will be over. He's so awful. You don't see that. You don't see the 5 guys they cut out because they tank, because they think hiring guys who have, celebrities fine, they write the stuff for them. But if you're hiring comics who've never done a roast and expect them to kill if this isn't what they do for a living, it's going to be a hard thing. So they end up cutting out 4 or 5 guys. Even though they have notoriety, they go, wow, that was just awful to watch. And they also don't see, how much hard work goes in, because we're roasting Larry the Cable Guy March 1st. Yesterday started working on that. That's over a month of work you have to put in just to do a really, really great job. So they don't see the editing and the drafts and the writing of a clever ending so that it doesn't end just, okay, thank you, good night. That's probably the hardest job I do all year, and it's freaking awful.
So it works best, I guess, when it seems like it's coming right from your mind at the moment, but the reality is there's weeks and maybe months of work to go into that people don't see.
Well, I don't agree. I don't think it comes off better if it looks like you're coming off the top of your head, because it just doesn't. It's patently untrue that any comic's ever gone up there with no script. It's all on a teleprompter or you've written it before, and it doesn't sound good if it just comes off the top of their head because it looks really unprepared and awful. So you can make yourself just so you can make yourself sound natural. That's how.
That's what I was saying. I wasn't suggesting that it sounded better if you if it was, stream conscious, that you've worked on it so hard that it seems very natural because you know the material. That's what I was getting at.
Oh, yeah,
really.
yeah, like it's all acting. I mean, it's all acting
Yeah.
like the first time you ever said it, and like acting for movies or TV. It has to look like you're really hearing the character say the thing for the first time when actually you've worked on it and memorized it and know what's coming. So it's the same thing with that.
Is it easier to go up there and slam someone who you know and have a personal relationship with, or someone that you've never met before?
No, it doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter either way, as long as you have at least a like or a respect for them. Like, if I'm roasting someone, I probably wouldn't roast anyone I hated because it comes off hateful unless you're the best actor in the world. But that's why, as an insult comic, I only make fun of people I like. Like I like, blacks, Jews, Hispanic, Asian. Anyone who I have sort of a problem with, like those dopey Europeans and French people and, others that smell, I really don't make fun of them because it comes off harsh. So with the roast, you kind of get people that you at least respect enough to make decent jokes without coming off hurtful.
I see. We're just about the end of our time. Did I understand that you're co-producing a TV pilot?
Yeah, Jim Carrey's the executive producer. He had discovered me about a year and a half ago. We have the same agent, and Jim wanted to be the producer of a TV show and about comedy. And he saw me. They took him to see me, and he really liked me. And we worked together, came up with an idea, got a great writer, and sold the pilot deal to HBO. So hopefully we'll be shooting that, and maybe if we're lucky, and it'll make it to air, and we'll have a series. So hey, who knows? It's one of those things where you just do it and you hope for the best and see what happens.
Is there a role in there for either of you?
Oh, I'm the star of the show. He's
you are? Okay, I wasn't.
Yeah, no. He's doing a show about a comic. He'll probably do a cameo or something, but he's the idea guy. He's so smart. He's really, there's genius in there. So he definitely is the creative force behind the whole thing.
All right. I know that you're touring right now. Is there anything else in the near future beyond the HBO special?
Yeah, I have my book, my autobiography, Chocolate Please, is coming out September 15th. Of course, Chocolate Please refers to my list of chocolate men that I have come up with over the years. And it reads really like Schindler's List. It really does, except with a less happy ending. So, I think you'll really enjoy that. And it's very, very true, and it's very hardcore, so it should be fun.
Great. Well, folks, you can order Lisa Lampanelli's CD, her DVDs, and even Dirty Girl panties and other clothing at her. I'm sorry?
No, I said you lucky thing. You want some panties?
You can get those at her website, www.insultcomic.com. That's solid, insultcomic.com. And if you're interested in seeing her live, you can check out her website for upcoming tour dates. And don't forget, watch Lisa Lampanelli, Long Live the Queen, on HBO this Saturday, January 31st at 10 p.m. Lisa, thanks for joining us today on our fake little radio show here.
Oh, no, I love you, and thanks for not annoying me. I like you.
It's my pleasure. It's delightful to have you. I'm looking forward to seeing the show on Saturday.
Take care, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And, of course, for dozens more celebrity and media newsmaker interviews, surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my conversations with Robert Schimmel, Billy Bob Thornton, Cheryl Hines, Milo Ventimiglia, David Fury, Anna Gunn, Kirk Douglas, and many others. And please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites, whether you listen on Blog Talk Radio, Pointer Online, Blueberry, Zencast, Odeo, or iTunes. And, of course, don't miss any episode of Mr. Media. You can subscribe on iTunes. Just search within your browser, Mr. Media Interviews, and sign up. You can also follow Mr. Media on Facebook or Twitter, www.twitter.com/Andelman, Andelman. Thanks so much for listening to Mr. Media today. I always appreciate when you spend a little bit of your day listening to us. Come back real soon, everybody. Bye-bye.